And I'll be in a minute. I've just got to share this out. One more play. I'm back. So here we go, everybody. The thumbnail I'm just going to talk about because this was a surprise, I think, to a lot of people, that Hot Toys figure. And it's expensive. It's over $200. And it's not coming out until like January and June of 2025. And to be honest, I don't know if I want to. Hi, Mike. How you doing? I don't know if I really want to wait that long for it, but I want it. Okay, that's probably one of the best sculpts for Han Solo I've ever seen. And it's a great figure. I mean, it is really, it's the best one they've ever done. And it's got a certain, I don't know, to it. And I want it. So I'm debating if I should buy it now or wait till it, or put it on layaway and then wait, because with the way the world is right now, and the fact that we've got China trolling Taiwan, basically saying there aren't any boundaries in the Straits of, I think, Straits of Taiwan, etc. It's like, well, fuck you, by the way, China. You know, I don't want to lose $200 or $300 if that figure is made in Asia. And it's got to come across this. Okay. So, I don't know. So anyway, let's talk about what's going on with Gina Carano. So, yesterday, THR, hi Peter, how you doing? THR put a really good story out about Gina in The Hollywood Reporter. And we're not here to talk about that, Jacques, so just stop it, or you're, all right, bye. There. It is, isn't it? It's truly tight. I mean, I'm like, whatever. So Hollywood Reporter did a really fair, good story about Gina Carano. And I was shocked by that, but not shocked. I mean, if you go back and look, the paper that Disney likes to go to get the real story out is not, take care of this one, cross, please, thanks. The one I'd like to get the story out, that they use to get the story out, is usually The Hollywood Reporter. Chapek did it. Okay. Obviously, something's going on with Gina. And I really think there is a lot to the sue the shit out of Disney and Lucasfilm, and you'll get your job back. I honestly think that's what's going to happen. A lot of really weird things going on. And this story, which, you know, seems to be telling Hollywood, hey, you can hire her. Okay, this is a good idea. She's a cool person. Is interesting, because the Hollywood Reporter, in my opinion, is the classier, the Hollywood Reporter is the classier trade rag. Okay, it just is. And then, you know, now we know that Straight Wire is now representing Gina. She has an agent. She has representation now, again. The guy that runs it seems like a pretty straight shooter. His last name's Weston. And it's a boutique firm. It's not a big one, which, you know, Conran had a good, a really good reason why this is better than UTA or CAA, Well, UTA is going through a great big huge kerfuffle right now. People are suing each other back and forth, and it's like, whoa. Or any of the other really big firms. And the reason why is because if you went to CAA, Brian Lord, being the Lord Mayor of Hollywood and the king of gaydom in Hollywood, would probably block you from getting jobs. Okay, that's what they would do. Okay, they would say, okay, we're going to, represent you and then fuck you over. Okay, this guy Weston won't do that. It's a boutique firm. It seems like it's one-on-one, which is really kind of cool. Okay, really kind of cool. That's the way you want it. I mean, look, you want your lawyer to be concerned with your case and only your case. If you have an agent, when you're on their time, when they're representing you, to be only concerned with your career, not anybody else's, and not blocking you for a bigger star. Okay, makes sense to me. So that's all good news. So let's talk about Patty Jenkins. Was she on the reservation when she said what she said, or was she not on the reservation when she said what she said? There is a certain element out there that think that she went off half-cocked. When you've got Jeff Snyder saying, I don't really believe this, it's because no one told him. I mean, first off, you gotta look at Patty Jenkins and say, why would she lie? First off, she's great friends with Bob Iger. Okay. You all know the stories. And you all know the fact that Kathleen Kennedy, I don't think, realized she was really good friends with Bob Iger until they came to the pushing and shoving match. And it got ugly. I know what words were exchanged or yelled at to Iger by, let's say, not Kennedy in this situation. But it's typical Kathleen Kennedy. She runs into a, oh look, it's a Nazi. Huddy the Nazi. Okay, because that flag is equal to the Nazi flag. You don't get to have a word here on my channel. All right, if you think Hamas is cool, okay? I mean, there are ways of looking at this without screaming from the river to the sea and sounding like Reinhard fucking Heydrich. Of course, I wouldn't expect anybody with Huddy's flag in that to understand who we're even talking about, because they don't know history existed. And if they do, they think the bad guys were right. Anyway, enough. Yeah, I know just some other guy, but I just don't think that someone who is friends with Bob Iger would lie about that. I really don't. Chinoy did that. But you gotta look at it this way. Let's look at it from a different perspective. Chinoy's running around saying, I'm the first woman to ever direct a Star Wars project. Deborah Chow's going, what about me? And, Bryce Dallas Howard is going, I guess the redhead doesn't matter. Okay. And obviously that, Stephen Knight just announced he's doing another project. He's not writing the Rey movie anymore at all. Okay. So if the usual suspect, PH, should know that I've got people who actually work for the government looking into things. And if they keep this shit up, I have all the evidence and they're getting more. They keep this shit up, he's going to wish he had never done anything. He's going to wish he had quit Lucasfilm in 2018. All right. Because I was raised to fight back. Okay, that's just what I do. Anyway, it doesn't matter. That stuff I'm not even gonna talk about. You guys just keep banning them when they show up. Anyway, so what's going on here is it looks to me because Iger and Jenkins have their yachts parked next to each other, I guess. They hang out together. Okay, they're friends. And it's one of those things where Kennedy didn't know they were friends, I don't think, until she discovered they were. Much to her stupidity and, Darth Stupidious. Okay. So anyway, where this is going is this. Okay. I think Iger said, this is what we were told from Sparrow. Iger talked to Jon Favreau, the Rogue Squadron movie, with the script that Kamran's friend wrote was the best project they had. And Iger had told Favreau, let's resurrect a lot of these things that dumbass Kennedy canceled and get the wheels churning again. So they pick up the Rogue script, read it, love it. Iger's talking to, I gotta blow my nose, sorry. Iger's talking to Favreau and says, I want you to meet with Patty off campus. That's what they did a couple weeks ago. And I don't think her relationship with Bob Iger would necessarily make it easier for her to go half-cocked. I'm sure they talked about it. Oh, I want people to see this. My reasons, I want people to question her. Okay, there are still people who watch Black Pills who think she's still there, and yet, and these are people who think Jon Favreau left. It's like, what? What? He didn't leave. He's still there. Which is why I'm doing what I'm doing. Okay, which is why I do what I do. So I think Jenkins, with the blessings of Bob and John, went on that podcast and said what she said. It is not official. Just like I don't think anything about an agreement being reached between Carano's lawyers and Disney's lawyers will be announced till after Kennedy's gone. Now, this is the thing. If they announce them before, and there's a chance they could, that after Mando Rogue Squadron's coming out, in order to start filming Mandalorian movie, Gina Carano has reached an agreement and an agreement lawyers with the case, and Bob Iger basically said, we'll give you your job back and we'll give you $150,000. Okay, that's nothing. Look, Disney doesn't have a lot of money, but they can afford that. Okay. That would mean Kennedy's gone. Because you got to remember this. Kathleen Kennedy hates Gina Carano. Okay, she hates her. Okay, absolutely fucking hates her. But the reason why Gina was fired, or quote unquote fired, is the fact that Gina, being on Twitter at the time, asking questions, putting her opinions out there, and not pissing off her co-workers. Yeah, I've seen that, just some other guy, and it's like, well, I've had actually people say that they hated Favreau, and it's like, what did he do? I mean, and look, the story was, if look, we'll get into that in a second if I remember. Anyway, and if Gina, shows up, hey, sci-fi universes, if Gina shows up, Kennedy's done. Now, again, let's go back to what I was talking about. Gina wasn't the target of this whole bullshit, all this bullshit. It was Jon Favreau. He dared to bring Luke Skywalker back and make him look like a hero. Hi, Ira. Again, he dared to bring Luke Skywalker back and make him look like Luke Skywalker. Okay. And you're like, I leave this person up until they start trolling, guys. I can see it. I mean, she didn't know that Luke was coming back. And when she saw him, she went fucking berserk. All right. That's why she decided to go against everything Bob Iger said to do at last year's Star Wars celebration, which it's coming up on a year since then, and announced the fake Rey movie with Stephen Knight, who now he's got another project he's working on, and The Acolyte. And what I find fascinating is with The Acolyte, we have not heard a word about that. And I think you're gay. First off, I'm not old. You might be a faggot, though. And why is that doing that? Just a second. It's like some weird alarm on our burglar alarm that it goes off. It'll go off again later, like at 1:30 or whatever. But it'll be, oh, by the way, if you ever want to see old, let's find a picture of what old looks like. And she's how many years younger than I am? Oh, I think I can find it. It's what a 47-year-old woman looks like that doesn't take care of herself. Well, let's see. Let's do it this way. Just to piss everybody on let's see. Hey, Peter. Oh, can't find her. But I bet you I can find her on, I know I can find her on X. Anyway, oh, I forget what I was talking about. But my thing is, it's going to be very interesting coming back with all of this. And that's probably Hidalgo's wife. She's 47. I am a bit older. Okay, there you go. I'm not older. I mean, that's what I love about these people. I get yelled at, but do I look like this? She looks like she's 65. I mean, come on. Didn't take care of her skin, doesn't put makeup on. Obviously doesn't work out. Whatever. Okay. Which I do all of that. So okay. And I got a really good ring. Anyway, so back to, what were we talking about? Oh, I forget. Anyway, back to Patty Jenkins. So she goes on, we're talking about, she goes on that podcast, basically says the Rogue Squadron movie is back in development. And I'm looking at it going, and she's writing it. Now, this is the part that makes me go, Patty's a hell of a good director. We all know that. When she's directing somebody else's script, she's a great director. She's a great director. But Wonder Woman 84 proves that she couldn't write a C-Spot run book from the 1950s. It's like, she can't write. She just can't. So my concern is with Patty Jenkins. Yeah, but the problem with that is he wasn't informed. This just came out of Jenkins' mouth, and he was not informed of it. So, and Jenkins said she was writing it. Now, they have his script, and that is the script that Favreau went with. I mean, it's good I believe him. All right. So my problem is what exactly is Patty talking about? What is there to write if she was happy with the script in the first place? Okay. And why, he's going to get a writer's credit, obviously, but why don't you just call him and say, hey, we're doing this? So you better get ready. Okay. And look, this will come after Mandalorian. Apparently, location scouting teams for Lucasfilm have been activated. I don't know what that means. It's probably for Mando and Grogu. They did secure $63 million. I think that was the second one, just some other, I don't know. See, let me explain. I don't care about DC. To me, the Dark Knight and Superman 2 with Christopher Reeve were the two greatest, silly superhero movies ever. Marvel just makes me go. I'm more of a Lord of the Rings, definitely Star Wars, Indiana Jones, Ghostbusters person. I don't care about them. In fact, if all the woke people had worked for Marvel and all the really great writers had worked for Star Wars, we'd all be doing this. We won't give a shit. I mean, I wouldn't care. Trying to bring, I think, that kind of story into the mainstream. I agree with Martin Scorsese. It's hurt cinema. Okay. Movies like The Lord of the Rings, despite some of the character problems, and yeah, I agree, Cross. The Ghostbusters Afterlife movie was great. That's the way you do a sequel. And that was number 3 in the whole thing. So it's a trilogy. Now we're getting Frozen Empire, and I can't wait. I've got my tickets already. Next Friday. I'm going to be missing my wine tasting, but I don't care. I'm going to sit there with a thing of popcorn and a soda and laugh my ass off. Okay. Those the DC Comics movies and all that, they're cotton candy for the brain. Okay, they really, really are. After trying to sit through Moon Knight, what the fuck? I gave it a chance. First off, I hate Oscar Isaac. He's a dwarf. Second of all, it was stupid. The knowledge of ancient Egyptian religion and magic and all the things that that I learned when I took Egyptology was just like, the fuck wrote this? You know, you're like, it's just mindless stupidity, I thought. And then you've got, you know, Loki, and it's garbage. It just is. You know, Star Wars is a little bit different. There's a fantasy element, but yeah, I mean, there's a certain fantasy element to it. There's a certain religious and spiritual aspect to it. And it's also something that I think is embedded in the human race's DNA. It really is. Okay. I think that some things are learned through bloodlines. True, just some other guy. True. That just made me want to go. You know, my inner shield maiden was going, what the fuck? You know, with Thor. I mean, what a stupid. Oh. Anyway, so, you know, I don't really care too much about Marvel, and I don't care at all about DC, especially since I think James Gunn is a pedophile. You know, I've seen his name on, you know, lists along with Rob Reiner and some other people. I think some other people have been unjustly added to it. But I look, the louder someone yells, the more they have to hide. And look at the people who are yelling. That's all I'm going to say. Anyway, what I want to talk about is the chances of, I think, Rogue Squadron being made after Mandalorian. I think, again, I don't have any proof, and I know what a wild card Patty Jenkins can be. And the fact that she is a pain in the ass. She doesn't listen to people. She's a cowboy. All right, she really is. She can't collaborate. Her insisting on writer's credits, I think it was on Wonder Woman, the first one, that she didn't get because she didn't write. She didn't write it. All right. And you know, I don't. Did she get the credits? I can't remember. Is egoistic bullshit. All right. Look, be happy being the director. Okay. Let Kamran's friend come in there and be the writer and do his thing. Obviously, it was a great script. Don't make it female centric. Okay. I don't, you know, if her father was a fighter pilot who was killed in Vietnam, God bless his soul, I would have to say that in the world of me, that if it was about my dad, or I was doing something in honor of my dad, who was a World War II veteran, I was born when he and my mom were in their late 40s, okay? I would do something that would be centered on guys. Okay, so I'm hoping we don't get, you know, I know that Wonder Woman 1984 apparently was not woke, but still it was a terrible movie. I don't want that. I want a movie about fighter pilots like Maverick. If you have a female fighter pilot or two, fine. But make the show about Wedge Antilles. Make the show about Luke Skywalker, for crying out loud. He was the commander of Rogue Squadron, okay? Do it. I mean, there's so many stories out there that they could adapt if they don't use the script that they have. But don't make it about a girl, because I'm kidding. Look, it doesn't. Ahsoka's not woke. I didn't see any homo faggot bullshit. I didn't see anything like that. Because I think John Favreau would kill somebody if they did that. And I think Bob Iger would too. But I have to admit, sorry, that if they have a woman, and this is about women, or a woman fighter pilot, I'm not gonna be happy. It might be good, but I don't care. I'm sick and tired of it. I want to see a movie about fighter pilots. I want to see Top Gun in Star Wars. I want to see, you could have a story where there's a new prototype of the TIE fighter, and they're like they have like three of them. That's all that were built while they're testing them. The rebels find out. So instead of just blowing them all up, they decide to go grab one and reverse engineer it and use it to train the X-Wing fighters. So who do they send up? All of a sudden, Han Solo says, I can steal that. And that's a story. He steals the TIE fighter, and the rest is history. And the other ones, so it's an even playing field again. They don't have to destroy all of them. Just steal one, use it for training, reverse engineer it, and see what it's about. I would do that in a heartbeat. I think that's a great idea. It would be hilarious. Especially since you could see Han getting away from this. Oh yeah, that would be a fun. Yeah, that would be a good one. It just depends on what the original script was. But there's so many possibilities about doing a good Rogue Squadron script, and she's got to let people, especially the guys, have their input. Because I'm gonna say something. The reason why she didn't get along with Kathleen Kennedy is they're both exactly alike with attitude. They have egos the size of this big, and their egos are writing checks their talent has never been able to cash. Okay. Kennedy actually believed the press about her. I mean, she's partly to blame for the mythology. No one ever listened to, Steven Spielberg going, she's a moron. Subtext, she's an idiot. About, the best brewer of coffee he ever met, and, how about he ends up with the dog instead? Saying stupid shit like that. She's not a creative. Okay, but damn it, people convinced her, and she convinced herself she was, and here we are. Okay, with a bunch of stupid girls out there actually believing your bullshit, and they don't care about Sherry Lansing, Dawn Steele, Lucille Ball, how many other women out there? I mean, look, some of the greatest executives in early Hollywood were people like Mary Pickford, Lillian Gish. They produced movies. They did that stuff. They were literally there when the medium started. Yet we all have to pretend that Kathleen Kennedy was the first. It is such fucking bullshit. I can't stand it. And no one has ever confronted her with, Kathy, the glass ceiling was broken decades before you were ever born. Okay. I mean, so stop it. Making movies in the end has always been a guy's thing. And there are women who can do it. Lucille Ball proved it. Mary Pickford and Lillian Gish. There were others who took over their husband's studios when their husband died, and that was like over 100 years ago. Sherry Lansing, who was married to William Friedkin, was the head of Paramount. I mean, the fuck does she think she is? All right. Sherry Lansing came after people like Bob Evans, Robert Evans, the vice president in charge of Paramount Pictures when The Godfather came out, and Chinatown. Okay. This is a big deal. Okay. And for a woman to get ahead in Hollywood at that time, it was a different world. But still, despite all that, Sherry Lansing proved herself as a very talented, tough leader. All right. Oh yeah, and that's true. I mean, that's true. It was not only sci-fi, but it was gothic horror. All right, and yet, you know, and of course, what I love about Frankenstein is you've got these feminazi professors. My professor, Mary Davidson at UWL, uh, demanding us to believe that Percy Bysshe Shelley actually wrote the book and improved it, or thought he did. And what we got published was actually all of his edits. It's like, you know, um, so there you've got, I mean, look, so, and there are female directors beyond Patty Jenkins. Who was the chick that directed Zero Dark 30? She also directed Strange Days with Ray Fiennes. What a weird movie. Oh my God. Anybody ever see Strange Days? It's about New Year, it's about the year 2000. And basically, if it was, you can make it 2030, and it might actually be closer to the truth, but oh God, what a bizarre movie. What a bizarre, bizarre movie. Um, I think I had the VHS and then I got rid of it. But you know, there are a lot. Catherine Bigelow. I mean, first off, she's married to the king of Hollywood, James Cameron. Give me, you know, I hate him. He divorced her, and then the rest is history. Whatever. But yeah, I mean, Catherine Bigelow, and I mean, Penny Marshall. Where the fuck was Kathy when Penny Marshall was doing stuff? You know, it's just, I mean, all right, for writing, Nora Ephron, okay? All right. So it's like, Kathy, I mean, and of course, Melissa Matheson, E.T., The Indian in the Cupboard, and other things. So it's like, where is the humility? And why would you believe in the world of yourself that Kathy Kennedy is the producer that she pretends she was? Why? Is it because she's got all kinds of secrets on all kinds of men in Hollywood? I'll give that, probably. Is it because you're worried about what other women might think of your company if you said she sucks and everything that she's ever done has been on the shoulders of Spielberg, Lucas, Milius, and others? You know, Eastwood. Did I say no? Scorsese. You know, she was a producer on Back to the Future with Howard Zemeckis. Back to the Future is his movie, not hers. Not hers. Okay, so this is me. She was the reason why Patty Jenkins left in the first place. She was the reason why Gina Carano was forced out. She was the reason why, when Jon Favreau's back was turned, the Book of Boba Fett turned into this dumpster fire. Okay, and I think he did an okay job saving it, but you'll never see Robert Rodriguez do another Star Wars thing. They won't let him. And the reason why is because he didn't do a good job and he didn't stand up for it. He didn't stand up for his work. Because Kathy, you know, and what was the Biker Skittles gang? His idea or was it Kathy's? I mean, who knows? You know, and Kathy Kennedy's name tainted good stuff. Obi-Wan, Ahsoka, Mandalorian season 3, which wasn't on par with season 2, but the reason why is because Bob Iger told John, tone it down till she's gone, and then you can let loose, okay? Which is what he has done, and you know, Jon Favreau has suffered for daring to toning it down, but he didn't want to get fired. And if he'd have brought Han Solo back, if you'd had Leia Organa Solo show up in Ahsoka instead of R2 or C-3PO, she would have shit her pants. Okay, it's just a look. They had to keep her mouth shut, and it's obvious that's why they were doing this. So the fact that there's going to be a Mando and Grogu movie, and the fact that Patty Jenkins, you know, I think, look, if she went rogue, and she's been known to do that, wouldn't surprise me. But I think the fact that she said what she said, it's not official, but she said what she said was at the blessing of her friend Bob Iger and Jon Favreau. Okay. There's a lot going on that we still don't know. I mean, I barely scratched the surface. Let's put it this way. Kamran only puts out what is comfortable to put out. Okay. You know, I've talked to the big leaker on Twitter. Let's find him. Where is he? He was on here. Thwip. And I can't find it. Okay, he just posted something. That guy, there's a guy on X, Thwip T or something like that, who I actually asked straight out loud, are you gonna tell us anything about Lucasfilm? And he said, didn't say anything. And I said, what about Kennedy? And I told him what we thought was going on. And he said, that is what's going on. This guy, for all I don't know who he is, but, and then of course, Matt Bellany, you know, I told him that Kennedy finally sold her house. And he said, thank you on that one. We've been talking about it. I think he knows what's going on. The problem is that there are too many people who need it to be written down in crayon for them to believe whatever. And it's like, that's fine, but don't insult me, Kamran, or anybody else by saying this is what's going on. Okay. I don't make money at this. I don't want to make money at this. And the reason why is because just some other guy, they never tell you who the buyer is, ever. It is, I would probably have to go back on Ownerly and look to see, because the name does show up there, but you're not going to see the real estate agents release that because it's illegal to do that. And at this level, you know, a lot of the people that buy property like that put it in a tax shelter under a different name. Trust me, I've discovered that in my digging. And it's like, There's got to be something illegal about that. I mean, just my opinion. Anyway, um, I'm gonna go and see what my husband's up to. He's putting the garden beds out, and we're gearing up to plant our vegetable garden. Um, so I'm very, very, very excited to be having that going on. And you guys want to take care of this douchebag? Thank you. I'm very, very excited about it. See if we can cut back on the Biden inflation in our grocery bill. You get a package of tomato seeds, and you're harvesting tomatoes from late July into here, June, October. You've got a pretty good harvest. Same goes for everything else. And I think we may end up investing in another freezer because you can freeze your produce. I've been reading up on it. And, I also probably will end up getting us a subscription to one of those meat subscriptions. Taylor Sheridan's 4 Sixes Ranch has good deals. Wild Fork, you can get anything you want. Then there's another one that sells really good Spanish pork, Iberico pork. And it's supposed to be better than Wagyu beef, which I'm like, I don't think so, but okay. So we'll see. And if you're a high protein, low bread, pasta, potatoes, and rice eater, all right, this stuff is, that this is a great thing. Well, Cap, I agree with you. And had she just kept her head down and gone along, none of this would have happened. But did it facilitate moving Kennedy out of the way? Think about it. I think I'm not a Buddhist. I'm not a Hindu. Karma to me is your actions. It's your actions cause an equal and opposite reaction. And I wouldn't have either. But I'm gonna give you an example. Brendan Wayne, who's the body guy, the body man playing the Mandalorian. In fact, when I look at him, I go, he's the Mandalorian. Pedro Pascal is just the voice. He sits in a booth and does the voice. Okay, not, awesome. And Brendan Wayne is definitely not. I think his mother helped Reagan get elected president, okay? Or something. He's of that ilk. He didn't say anything. He's never said anything. Do you think he cares to those people? He's John Wayne's grandson. No, he doesn't. But he also didn't say anything. Okay. Pedro Pascal never came to her defense. Okay. The only two that did was the late Carl Weathers, God bless his soul, and Giancarlo. Yeah, well, yeah, I mean, you've got to look at the playing field. Okay, you got to look at the playing field. Now she has a point. Pedro Pascal made an ass of himself. Okay, he did. And he was given, go with God. I mean, look, the Flying Monkeys loved it because anybody that disagrees with them and the ideas of free speech are Nazi to them, which is like, you ever read the U.S. Constitution? Have you ever actually read the laws that Hitler implemented in 1933 and onwards? What the fuck are you talking about? But you're dealing with a bunch of emotional, uneducated, indoctrinated dunderheads who don't know what the fuck they're talking about. I mean, you know, there's a point when if you've got, look, look at what Twitter was 3 years ago. All right. People are getting banned right and left for daring to disagree. And Twitter was deep into it. And, you know, Jack, the former CEO, that looks like a, you know, has been, you know, a grunge rock performer, you know, it's, you know, complaining about Elon letting people, you know, say what they want. It's like, fuck you. Oh, I'm going to add this one. They want to ban TikTok. It's going to go to the Senate. Hopefully Rand Paul and Mike Lee and a bunch of other guys can filibuster and block it from ever being voted on. Because it is not just the Chinese on TikTok and they have to divest themselves of it. It is a law that allows the executive branch to shut down a social media platform like YouTube, like X, like Facebook, like Tumblr, okay, like Threads, like Blue Skies, like Mastodon, okay. And I don't care for that, okay. I don't like it. That's totalitarian. That's 1984 Animal Farm bullshit. That's what that is. And it's something that Hitler and Stalin would have loved to have had so they could shut down opposition. Okay, but look, the people that went after Gina don't want opposition. They scream about the United States being a democracy. Democracies are dangerous because they lead to mob rule, and that leads to dictatorships. Okay, look at the Weimar Republic. That was a democracy. Okay, what did it lead to? Think about it. I've got a book on German social democracy, and it's like you can't do it that way. The only way you can actually have real liberty in a country is to protect the rights of the individual against the mob. And that's what the US Constitution does. All right, that's exactly what it does. And yeah, well, the thing about it is they just gotta get, it should be a congressional thing to say TikTok cannot operate in the United States as long as China owns it. Okay. Okay, fine. I mean, I you know, when I look at the big enemies of the United States, besides the Democrat Party, it's China and Iran. I look at Russia and saying, why are we having a fight with them? Why are we arguing with them? Why? Okay, so I just shake my head and go, you know, there has to be a better way of doing things, and don't even get me started on that. You know, I just no. So anyway, but back to Star Wars. I think we're gonna get a Yub Nub moment very soon. Okay, and the reason why is simply because there are two indications that she's walking out the door. Gina Carano getting good press in THR, and Patty Jenkins. All right, if you ever want to see horrifying bullshit, mean girls are the worst, and Kathleen Kennedy is the epitome of a mean girl. All right, so I gotta go. You guys have a good afternoon, and if anything happens later tonight, you know, we hear anything, I don't know. we get a flurry of activity, then like a week or two of silence, and then nothing, something else comes out. But I think as we get closer to the April 3rd investors meeting and the proxy vote, I think a lot more is going to happen. So you guys have a great afternoon. I'm going to go out and see what the hubby's doing. I'll see you guys around the galaxy. Ooh, where's that? Oh, there it is. They moved the X. Bye.